That's Farina, right over there.
Should I just give up? What was meant to happen did happen after all. I'm sorry. I am so sorry. Give up, Farina. There's no point in holding out. I'm sorry, but what can I even do other than to repeat meaningless apologies over and over? Who's that?
Don't worry, Farina, it's just us.
So it is you, blonde traveler from another land. Why, I almost thought you were some...
Farina, you were crying just now, weren't you? The tear stains on your face are obvious.
What do you mean, tear stains? Oh, I remember. The show at the Opera House earlier this morning. Who did that uncivilized rabble think they were? Disturbing my enjoyment. They even dare to tout their Archon. I must teach them a lesson. Oh, and I'm sure Neuvillette and those people from the Marsh Chaussee Phantom are freak...
Hey, there she is! The Hydro Archon's over there! Quick, after her!
Farina, those people seem to be after you.
They are? They're just some rabid fan. That's against the rules. I can't...
Farina just ran off! Quick, we have to catch up with her! This should be the place, right? Hey, Farina! There's a good hiding spot over here. Quick, come to Paimon before the rest of them catch up to you.
What?
Hurry, they're almost here.
Fine. I suppose haste is warranted. Lead the way. I merely gave in to the sheer enthusiasm they display. You're right.
Yep, that's a good girl.
What's happening? The ground's shaking. Is it an earthquake?
Yeah, a quake of this kind preceded the flooding in Poisson, didn't it?
It can't be. It's happening again.
Well, there's no need to worry too much about that. Neuvillette's made some emergency plans, so the evacuation should go a lot smoother this time.
Yeah, I hope you're right. But the people of Poisson, they've already... It's true. I've been investigating the prophecy for hundreds of years. I once had informants all over Neuvillette, searching for clues and feeding, and I've tried all kinds of ways, but all my efforts proved to be futile in the end. We cannot make an enemy of the divine. Give up, indeed. Fate is really unreasonable, but just now, it all became clear to me. As long as the final moment hasn't come, don't worry. I will keep hope alive. Well, that's enough for now. I got the impulse to play the stricken maiden, but honestly, considering my rank and station, don't take any of what I just said seriously. How could I possibly—
Come on! Paimon could have sworn you were actually being honest just now.
Cher, that's impossible. It was fated right from the start that this would be a witness. And if Tevat is in...
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes my opening performance. Now, without further ado, we may proceed to the
So, this is what it is. Yes, you deserve praise for the effort you took to Do not forget, however, that I am Focalor, the god of justice, the embodiment of justice itself.
May I interpret these words as your refusal to stand trial? In that case, you will have the opportunity to defend your honor through a duel.
You would draw your blade against a god? I see. It seems like you have made up your mind.
Paimon can't believe it. She just
What the heck is going on? Did I just see an Archon surrender to a...
Wow, how utterly humiliating.
Lady Farina, what is the meaning of this?
Shh! It would seem that there has been a misunderstanding. To be clear, the raising of both hands...
looking for excuses again, huh?
I raised my hands just now to indicate my acceptance of the trial. I will admit that I've been running away for a long time. I'm sorry, everyone. I was unable to protect the people of Poisson. It is my duty to stand trial for my crimes. You are not the only ones to be disappointed in me. But now, it is time for the Hydro Archon to show you her courage and resolve. I, Farina, will use this trial to show the world the true meaning of justice! This time, I will protect you. Applaud and rejoice. One of the most outrageous... Mark my words. This shall be one of the most exhilarating and brilliant shows ever to grace the stage of Fontaine! Woohoo!
Oh, now we're... Why does it feel like Farina just took over the whole thing? Like, also, even though she's still acting super dramatic, she is taking the...
All right, then. Who will be my opponent in this trial?
The court asks the prosecutor to please take the stand.
Is that so? Also, please allow me to ask, as a final question, just how much work did...
Well, we did do a lot of prep after the meeting that day.
I can go over the tasks assigned to the
Navia, the president of the Spina...
Most of the people who participated in the disturbance this morning were my They changed into plain clothes. The people's resentment against their Archon, moreover, according to our understanding and analysis of you...
magic box, so you may personally participate in the greatest magic performance.
Risk of the test lid.
What?
Hey! Look at me, everyone! Will you believe me now? I really am your Archon!
Miss Siegewin? If you're present, Miss Siegewin, please come forward and attend.
Siegewin?
Don't be nervous. It'll just take a few seconds. That should be enough.
Please announce the results of your evaluation.
As everyone doubtlessly saw, Miss Farina was displaying symptoms of hyperventilation and flushed skin. She was experiencing the adverse effects of exposure to primordial seawater. The extent to which she was affected is the same as other humans when exposed to primordial seawater of a similar...
Thank you, Miss Siegewin. Lady Farina, you may return to the defendants.
Oh, wait. What did she just say? I didn't get dissolved. Shouldn't that be enough to prove...
Well, considering your tendency to run from your problems, however, after extensive discussion, we exchanged it for a sample that is not concentrated enough. We don't want anyone else to...
Yeah, so out of regard for Farina's life, you secured a look. It's a great thing that the
I can't believe... You... Listen to me, everyone! Please don't give me such cold and disdain. Think about it! How can you also, if I was really just a human, what? Please, everyone, anyone, just listen to me! I swear, I really am your Archon!
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone. The odds are just too stacked against...
With all the things that have been said, Paimon doesn't think there's any way left.
I believe the time for arguments and presentation of evidence has come to an end. If there are no objections, we will move on to the final judgment.
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone. She's too stacked against her now.
In my capacity as Chief Justice, I shall now render judgment on Farina's misrepresentation of herself as the Archon of Fontaine. As a human who knowingly deceived her fellow citizens, Farina is... guilty. We shall now turn to the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale to render the final verdict on the charges. According to the judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale, Farina...
Well, what's wrong? What's the Oratrice's verdict?
No, the Oratrice also displays a guilty verdict.
Isn't that correct, then?
However, the exact wording of the verdict is thus: the Hydro to be punished via the death sentence.
That's actually one of the available sentences? I've always thought that it was...
The one and only time the death sentence has been handed out at the court. And it's been given to the very person we've worshipped as the...
Farina's been sentenced to death by the Oratrice? We just wanted to use the trial to show her the seriousness of things so she'd tell us the truth.
This outcome is indeed quite strange. According to Fontaine's current definitions of justice, as well as its recommendations for criminal... Is this sentence really appropriate for the crime?
Yeah! Even Fauché wasn't sentenced to death by the Oratrice. You know, the real evil...
Indeed. Not only is Farina's sentence overly excessive, but now the Oratrice seems to have deliberately invoked the title of the Hydro Archon. What does this mean?
Excuse me, if I may interrupt. Is the trial still going?
Fremine! You finally made it. I assume this means you've...
Mm-hmm. Any mission Father assigns to me.
Is that the first prophecy slate? Huh. So the knave privately arranged for Fremine to...
I looked everywhere and finally found it at the bottom of the sea. But has the trial already concluded?
Thank you for your hard work, Mr. Fremine. Please allow me to review the record left on the... Traveler, I believe that you have already seen the other existing slates.
Huh? So what do you see? What is it?
I believe I've now made sense of the Hydro Archon's crime. It has to do with Fontaine's lost history.
Huh? Isn't the Hydro Archon just guilty of deceiving her people? Oh, describes what you just said. Does that mean that Fontainians are transformed Oceanids? The second stone slate shows Celestia floating in the sky, and the Hydro Archon and her people were... This must be the point when the Hydro Archon and the Fontainians were branded with their original sin. The third slate shows the Hydro Archon sinking into the sea surrounded by many people. Huh. That reminds Paimon, didn't we also watch that? Well, the fourth slate is the prophecy the Fontainians have been talking about. We didn't believe that such a crazy disaster could happen at first, did we?
We know from the case of the serial disappearances of young women that Fontainians can be dissolved in primordial, and the first stone slate tells us that long ago the Hydro Archon used her power to turn Oceanids into humans. This might be the reason that Fontainians can dissolve. Perhaps what is about to take place has all happened before. The true sin of the Hydro Archon that Neuvillette mentioned, and the original sin cast down on the people of Fontaine by Celestia as recorded on the stone slates.
That doesn't sound quite right. That doesn't sound...
It's not as simple as falling into the sea. When Navia fell into the sea, her consciousness was subjected to judgment. The stone slate...
That doesn't sound...
The prophecy from the stone slates found its way into society, but not many people believed it. The fortress of Meropide was nearly flooded with primordial seawater. If we hadn't dealt with it in time, things could have gone very badly.
They'll dissolve into the primordial sea but won't cease to exist. Their essence will flow in the seawater. The Hydro Archon was sentenced to death in court, shocking everyone present. Perhaps this means that... Navia fell into the water inside those ruins, and she nearly dissolved. She was surrounded by the people of Poisson in a court within her consciousness. The eruption of the primordial sea at the fortress of Meropide was the surest sign that the prophecy was... The stone slate's content can all be verified by recent events. gets it now. But then it feels like we're going to have to share some
Let's hear them.
Incredible. Linny, did you hear that?
All Fontainians were originally created by the late previous Hydro Archon, with Oceanids as their basis. The evidence for that can be found in how only Fontainians could dissolve in primordial seawater, and how all the girls Vacher dissolved were also turned into Oceanids. Oh, and according to Navia, when she was about to get dissolved, she also saw everyone gathered around for a trial. All of them in the shape.
Indeed.
Yeah, and it follows from the content of the first slate that she probably angered Celeste. That could also explain why the Oratrice judged the Hydro Archon to be guilty. It's to account for that ancient sin.
The Hydro Archon's true sin?
And yet, after many hundreds of years, the
Yeah, isn't the image here just like when Navia fell into the sea? So wouldn't it be trying to show the image of the Hydro Archon also falling into the sea once the prophecy has been fulfilled? In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Archon will remain weeping on her throne. Oh, did Paimon get all that right?
You've made some keen deductions. I must say, given how much you still don't know, it is a... However, while you were able to decode all the information on the slates, when we were at the ruins, I tried to decipher the... Now that the slate collection is complete, I shall make another attempt to decipher...
Well? Did you get...
I believe I should share this truth not only with you, but with all the people of Fontaine as well. I will try to brief your hypotheses regarding the... In the Fontaine of old, the previous Hydro Archon sensed the yearning of her Oceanid familiars for life on land. The Oceanids were enamored with the beauty and romanticism of human beings, and wishing to have those experiences for themselves, expressed to the Hydro Archon. However, even though water as an element is intricately linked with the power of life, not one to give in, she eventually found a way to create permanent humanoid bodies for her familiars. She poured primordial seawater into the Oceanids' blood vessels. But if Fontainians were to ever come into direct contact with water from the Of course, the Hydro Archon never received permission from the heavenly principles to create a new human race. And thus, the Hydro Archon and all of her creations came to shoulder the original sin of appropriating the power of the primordial sea. That is the true history of how the people of Fontaine first came into being.
So we were all Oceanids before we turned into human...
That's way too much information for me. I think I'm just going to pretend that I never heard a single thing. Wait, but if that's the truth, we can't let the Hydro Archon be sentenced to death. After all, her only sin was creating us.
This really might be too much information for your regular...
Alas, your hypothesis regarding the third and fourth stone slates was a key point of the visual on the third slate. They have not been dissolved, which implies that the water depicted in this slate is... The nation of Fontaine is the nation of Hydro, as well as the nation of Trials, and you may also recall Navia's experience. When she fell into the sea, her consciousness was surrounded by that of many others who intended to hold... Therefore, that the people of Fontaine shall try... Yes.
I think I'm following now. So, what you're saying, in truth, everything we've done has happened...
What should we do?
No matter what, the prophecy will be fulfilled.
If that's the case, does that mean the scene in the fourth slate will also...
Traveler, I would like to point out another small fallacy in your deductions. About the fourth slate, you probably thought that the eruption of primordial seawater beneath the However, I believe that rather... As for the root cause of the catastrophe... This eruption was just a small warning of the things to come. We must...
It was both dream and reality.
If we're we're talking about a true culprit, that could only be that thing inside the primordial sea, right?
The truth, the original sin, the trial, and the root cause of the disaster.
That was way too close! How did that thing just burst into the Opera House? Wait, was that the huge whale you saw in your dream?
So we've met it at last. I understand very well why it is chosen to make an That whale does not belong to Tevat. It has been greedily consuming the energy from the planet, and once it has finished consuming all...
You said that when the Hydro Archon first created FONTAINE'S out of Oceanids...
Precisely. That whale finds the blood of FONTAINE'S nigh. Therefore, when it left the primordial sea, it decided to make its next...
We just barely managed to push it back, right?
That is correct. Indeed, it is more from the way he looked. He must have been fighting...
That battle maniac. We've always known that he had a special Anyway, now that we know...
It is too late. It had already absorbed too much, even if the entirety of...
That's not something I will accept. We've already done everything we can, and we even found the true culprit. We've come so far. You can't...
Indeed, that's not...
I'll fight it to the end. No matter what.
So the prophecy will be fulfilled no matter what, huh?
The prophecy. Yes. What has been prophesied will be for... Just as prophecies are usually... Ultimately, fate shall serve as your only guide, no matter what...
What's happening with the Oratrice?
I believe it is preparing to carry out the death sentence.
Farina!
No, I still need answers!
You.
Sorry. That shocked expression on your face is just too amusing. I couldn't help myself.
You are not Farina. Who are you?
The sweet sound of bewilderment. Marvelous. A sure sign that my attempt to deceive everyone was a resounding success. But to answer your question, I am Focalor. You know, the god.
Focalor? Why did you deceive us?
Oh, that wasn't my goal, of course. Goodness, no. But I had to fool everyone else too, if I was to stand any chance of deceiving the heavenly principles.
Deceiving the heavenly principles?
It's all because of that pernicious prophecy. Dreadful, wasn't it? Everyone doomed to dissolve. Fontaine condemned to be flooded. One was not amused. In fact, one was positively bemused when that problem was thrust upon me by my dearest predator. She knew full well that the prophecy would surely come to pass. And as one of the seven, she also knew full well that one defies the heavenly prince. So yes, as you have no doubt surmised, it was a rather impossible situation that I spent a terribly long time mulling it over, alone on the ocean floor. I had to outwit the heavenly principles, allow the prophecy. I'm a genius, I know. I can only assume that's why Egeria chose me as her successor. Although, looking back now, it was hardly the inheritance one dreams of. Between the tasks, but one can only play the hand one is dealt. I did not choose this, any more than I chose to—
So you were also once one of the Oceanids, transformed into a human by Egeria's hand?
Yes, I was. I always dreamed of becoming human. And I still do, even now. After becoming a god, I separated my divinity from my body and spirit, leaving behind only a self that was as naive and bewildered as my past self on her first day as a human being. The me you see before you now is that divinity. And the human counterpart I left behind, I named Farina. She could feel joy, sorrow, and everything in between. She could be as vain and conceited, or as meek and vulnerable. Her strengths were of a kind only a human could possess, as were her shortcomings. But in my eyes, Farina's humanity was what made her perfect. She was perfectly human in every way. The person I always wanted to be. Anyway, so then I cursed her. All part of the plan, of course. The plan to deceive the heavenly principle. Do you still remember the final scene of the prophecy? The Hydra Archon, alone, weeping on her throne. In order that the prophecy might appear fulfilled, I invited Farina to be an actress under the curse I placed on her. So long as I, Focalor's divinity, continued to exist, she could not die. But nor was she free to— Instead, she was forced to take the stage in the opera house. I suppose now you probably understand why your court is called the Opera Epiclète.
But Farina is only human, isn't she? Even though she has had a long life, her mind is no stronger than that of any other ordinary human being. I cannot begin to fathom what she has had to endure. It must have been torture for her.
It has indeed. And although she is, in a sense, me in human form, I most definitely owe her an apology for it. It's been 500 years, and all along, she's been playing her part in the most unimaginably long, unbearably lonely, and agonizingly painful.
So, who permitted you to come onto the stage? Now, I understand your admiration for my august self. All right. It is not my intent to reprimand you. There is no need. Oh, do not jest. Can you not feel it? I am Focalor. The eyes of countless Fontainians are upon me. I must, at all times, display... Dear audience, the performance is experiencing a technical difficulty, but worry not. The guards shall resolve it soon.
Rise. Go. Let it rain. Orders given. Orders received. Kapow! Hi! Oof! Quick! Hey! What gives? The audience is still watching me, you know. Guards! Wait, where are the guards? Guards! Running late again. It's justice o'clock!
Furina.
Huh? Who's that? Who's calling me? Where are you?
Be not nervous. Be not afraid. I am before you.
Wait a moment. You're mirror me? How can this be?
Mirror you, huh? You know what? That's not bad.
Mirror me. What do you wish to say?
The prophecy. Have you heard of it?
What prophecy? Wait. The people will all be dissolved into the water.
Oh, very good.
What's going on?
Yes, it will. And that is what.
But doesn't that mean everyone will die? I'm a Fontainian just like them. Will I dissolve too?
Oh, don't worry. Magical meetings exist in this world precisely to give people. I will tell you how to save everyone, but you may have to suffer somewhat.
Oh, so there's still hope after all. Goodness, you frighten me. As for the suffering, well, I will. But if the prophecy will come true, if there were scales, with all the people of Fontaine.
You truly are the perfect human. I suppose this would also be the justice that belongs.
Huh?
Don't worry, it's nothing. Listen well. Fontaine has just lost its Hydro Archon. I need you to play a role. That of the new Archon.
Play as a god?
That's right. You must begin a never-ending masquerade. You must never let if you can keep it up.
But how will I do that?
Don't worry. What you must, being a human yourself, remember, your true challenge will not be pursuing divinity, but
I'm still not sure I understand, but... So, how...
To accomplish this mission, you will have to stay on the stage for but I promise you, all will...
A trial, huh? The Maison Cardinalise has announced my accession. What should I say to ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome. I'm sure you've all heard about how, in truth, I know little about becoming a nation's new god. As the god Focalor, the god of justice, I shall do all within my power. Once again, thank you all for coming. If you should have any questions or suggestions, please send them to the Maison Cardinalise. The future of Fontaine will... I thought I might stammer, but thankfully, I was able...
That's the new Hydro Archon. Is this some kind of joke by the Maison? I would have thought that a being that surpasses humanity...
Hey, did you hear that? She even told us to send her suggestions.
Shouldn't gods be all-powerful? She's being so... modest. What's...
If you ask me, perhaps the succession didn't actually happen. She might just be a Maison back.
Wait, what's going on? Why is everyone suspecting me of being a fake? Right. Mirmi said that I just need to play the role of a god as you calm down, Farina. Think. Assertive, with a strong sense of presence. One who can dispel all... Now, I was wondering if some weak puppet were to one day come. Well, it seems that you may consider my previous act a dorg. Now then, let us be
So that was just a performance. How could I have forgotten that we were inside an...
Personality? It's quite shocking, to be honest, but I suppose it's a better look than before.
Such a fascinating and bold deity. How wonderful! Our future may yet be bright after all.
It seems I've turned them around. My dear people, whether you acknowledge me or not, whether you trust me or nay, I say to you, keep faith in your... We have heard it said that this nation's... No, this won't work. They'll suspect me again. I must play the role that they want me to. No, this won't work. They'll suspect me again. I must play the role that they want. The scales of justice should not weigh. May law be the prayer on our lips. May judgment be our worship. There is no trouble in this world that justice can... So long as I, the Archon Focalor, stand within the Opera Epiclese, so long as I...
Yes! Oh, yeah!
Lady Farina, here are today's case reports as well as...
Come now, was I not just at the Opera House in person? Besides, none of these trials were the one...
If I may be so impertinent, what kind of trial are you truly...
A magnificent, dramatic, and wondrous trial.
That's true, I fear I lack the ability to grasp...
No need for fright, and do not take what I said before too seriously. Go now, do your duty.
Lady Farina, I don't know what to...
No need to thank me. All right. All right. Deoteria.
You remember? He's doing much better. You're such...
Lady Farina, here are the latest hydrolog...
I see. It's as I thought then. All manner of... Really? Have they found...
I'm...
Oh, is that so? Well... The day is finally over. I haven't had a moment to breathe this whole time. But it's good to see that everything's getting on track. There are no longer any voices of... Maybe this is fine. I just need to keep going, and everyone will be safe. All right, Farina, don't think too hard about this.
Lady Farina, here are the new trial reports for the latest cases, as well...
There'll be no need for that.
Lady Farina, I've...
Indeed, my dear, loyal citizen. This joyous moment is an...
Lady Farina, we're detecting significant hydrological...
Understood. Keep monitoring. Keep me informed should anything come up. I feel utterly...
Lady Farina, it's like a dream being able to speak with you. I've heard that the first member of our family who is on...
And what a fine family yours is indeed.
Surely you accept...
What?
Are you crying?
Really now? This must be the overflow of hydro from my person. Well, can't quite help being the god whose dominion is the waters.
No wonder. No wonder. A manifestation of your power.
So interminable. Hundreds of years must have passed by now. Perhaps the show I never imagined that it would hurt so much. Have I reached my limit? I want to tell someone, anyone, about this. But I've conducted so many investigations across the centuries. But all I can do is keep heart. I must maintain this act.
Farina, you don't have to shoulder this burden, although I don't know what you might be keeping.
Share my burden. That's impossible. It was fated right from the start that this would be my—
But even if your burden doesn't need to be shared, you can still choose to confide in someone. Just share it with me. I'm
a witness. Yes, I've heard that you came to Neuvillette from beyond the stars, yes. In other words, you never belonged here. And if Neuvillette is in its entirety— if that— She's right. I could confide in her, couldn't I? But if things don't play out as expected— No, Farina, you shouldn't be selfish. But what if— Farina, you've worked so hard for so long. Is it such an outrageous thing to do anyway? To find someone in whom you can confide your frustration. If you let this opportunity slip through your— Think about it. Long and hard. No, I have nothing to say. I am Farina, the Archon of Fontaine. All you need to do, dear spectator, is to witness my performance.
Fine.
So even Farina doesn't know the truth? You've never once let her in on the full plan?
Yes, it had to be done. To deceive the heavenly principles, you must first deceive— She did very well. If she had let her resolve fall— It seems that trusting humanity was—
I believe that I understand how your deception works. But how would you build on this foundation to save the people of Fontaine?
Ah, good. Of course, the Iudex of Fontaine has pinpointed the crux. I'm sure you've long sensed that the oratories—
I've always suspected that it had its own consciousness. And Linny did mention that he heard a human voice. It now seems that that person was you.
And then I became one with the oratories, taking Fontaine's gnosis with me. Yes. It would seem— Alas, your understanding of this device still lacks sufficient— In truth, it is no enactor of justice.
beg your pardon?
Oh, you have it. And to be more precise, not only will the Oratrice take down the god of justice, it will also I mean, did you think I would be the sort to enjoy peaceful repose? My work over these last 500 years has been to constantly accumulate indemnitium within the Oratrice. But really, some have already discovered that only a small fraction of the energy, the vast majority had to be accumulated to enact this.
It was all a part of your plan, then? Both the trial and the sentence?
Indeed. This power, accrued over 5 centuries, could have sustained, but only power of this magnitude could hope to destroy the Hydro Archon's divine throne, shaking.
So the Oratrice's call for death was for neither Farina nor the destruction of that divine throne. If I do not misunderstand your intent.
Returning what's rightfully yours to you. In other words, this was all done to return the authority of the Hydro Archon to the Hydro Dragon of this planet.
But...
Oh, what? Getting sad again, are we? The authority of the ancient dragons shall soon be yours once more, O Hydro Dragon Sovereign. And
all you've done throughout the years is just so you can sacrifice yourself at the very end.
I've never quite seen it that way, you know. Even now, I'm quite pleased. Hydro Dragon, don't cry. I must say, had it been within my rights, I would have loved to judge the heavenly principles themselves. Were they not guilty of essentially the same crime? Egeria stole the power of the primordial sea, and the heavenly principles. I, for my part, am the god of justice. Speaking of justice, I have always believed that justice lies in the process of pursuing human. So, if the theft of the primordial sea's might was, then, leaving matters of procedural right and wrong aside, the descent of the in other words, existence was Egeria's justice, defying the prophecy and ensuring that Fontaine's at this point, Iudex Neuvillette, the highest judge in our land.
So when I was invited to the court of Fontaine to serve as Iudex, at last, in the beginning, I was uninterested in human existence. But these 5 centuries of living alongside, you are a devious one, Fossalor. Things being as they are, surely you know that I could never declare them to be guilty.
The hour of my execution is almost here. For the sinner, the curtain call has come. I know I may not sound it, but faced with death, I find myself a little afraid. Perhaps this is one thing both gods and humans have in common. Farewell, Neuvillette. I hope you've enjoyed the part you played these 500 years.
Codex Neuvillette, hereby declare, people of Fontaine, your sins are forgiven.
What just happened?
Was that bright light some sort of misdirection?
But since we're all still alive and haven't been dissolved, I see—
It's time to end this. We must mete out punishment to that beast.
Didn't you say just a moment ago that it can't be
I have gained the strength sufficient to deal with it. We should seize the opportunity to pursue our quarry. Traveler, now that the oratories can no longer function, I read the root of the calamities befalling Fontaine. The beast that come with me, traveler. The hour of execution has come. Done my best to separate the power of my own sea from the way. Considering the size of the beast, I cannot reach the power source. Unless we can find a way to attack it from within. Share a part of the ancient dragon's power with you. We shall look for an opening together. Sorrow turning into hostility.
Running late again. Ow, ow, ow! Rise.
Continue to trigger its hostility, and a chance will present itself.
Heads up! Hi! Pia! Heads up! Hi! Ha-ha!
Granted you my protection. Do not fear. Seize the moment and use my power to suppress its root from within.
It's justice o'clock! It's justice o'clock!
Thanks for helping with the cleanup. It should have been my job, but it was just supposed to be a short private training session for me. I didn't think that my disciple... Well, actually, I had a feeling that it would happen at some...
That power. Who are you exactly?
Paimon has an idea. From what she said earlier, she must be Child's master. Skirk, right? It's just that he gave us the impression that she was the less talkative person.
I simply did not have anything to say to the weak. So you may speak to me as equals. I have to agree. It's a strange use of that kind of power is wasted on it. All in all, it
Miss Skirk? I think you might have missed the point.
The point being?
Well, being that this pet almost destroyed an entire nation. So what sort of person is your master? Well, Child's master's master.
Oh, right. So you don't know him. Sorry, his name is Sir Taloji.
Huh?
I am unfamiliar with that name.
Huh. So Master is insufficiently famous.
The Foul?
Still nothing? Well, how about the Visionary?
Ooh, that one we've heard. Rhine Doctor's part of the Hexen Circle. She's Albedo's mom, right?
Oh, so you do know that name. To be honest, I also heard all of those names and titles from my master. But I suppose you understand now, yes? My master is like—
Wait! Didn't you also mention a visionary person?
Actually, never mind that. I believe that the all-devouring narwhal used up nearly such roiling hydro energies will as such. The fontaine back on the surface has most likely, in other words, the prophecy that you've been fretting about.
What?
Not to worry. Focalor has...
In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only Farina will remain, weeping on her throne. Only then will the sins of the people of Fontaine be washed away.
Hey! Help! Over here!
All hands, initiate emergency rescue! Hurry!
Hey, lend a hand!
Look! The water's receding!
It's a miracle!
Water's receding.
We didn't dissolve. The prophecy was wrong. The prophecy was wrong.
The prophecy was wrong.
The soil renewed. The Spina attack. Old soil can still give birth. Skyship winglet. Lunar bait. The various disputes that have arisen, people always call the first. Wow! Paimon barely recognizes the people in the report.
What do you think? Pretty enthralling, huh? The Steambirds, the value for these big scoops lies in their inevitable follow-ups. Edwin's assistant, Jurier, created a true fly.
Paimon's curious too! Wait a minute. Didn't we watch everything happen?
And that's exactly why I'd like you to come conduct interviews with me.
Are you sure?
Oh, this time we'll be...